spread across the Earth. This is the normal globe on the 10th of July. A huge volume of smoke forming new atmospheric currents would invade the stratosphere, move over the equator, and flow into the southern hemisphere. The smoke would flow south through the stratosphere at a speed of nearly 11 kilometers per hour and cross into the southern hemisphere in 2 weeks. In about 1 month, the Earth would have altered its appearance and become a gray planet. With this layer of smoke particles circling the globe, the amount of sunlight reaching the Earth's surface would be reduced by 99%. Heavy black clouds would hang low in the skies of the northern hemisphere, and day would resemble night with a full moon.
The sunlight comes and hits the smoke. Most of it's absorbed by the soot. It gets very hot.
Dr. Stephen Schneider, U.S. National Center for Atmospheric Research.
As you all know, when sunlight hits a blacktop road, you can see the warm air rising. Well, the same thing will happen. The warm air will start to rise above this heated smoke cloud, and it'll start to go up toward the stratosphere, the area that's about 12 to 30 kilometers high. It'll start to heat the middle of the atmosphere so dramatically that it will begin to reverse the general direction of the winds, actually creating a large circulation cell rising from the mid-latitudes in the northern hemisphere, going up 10 to 20 kilometers into the stratosphere, taking smoke both up and out and moving it toward the southern hemisphere.
This is the normal distribution of atmospheric temperatures in July. Areas colored blue are below zero. At present, they are limited to the polar regions, but after a nuclear war, the pattern begins to change. The second day. The fourth day. Blue sections appear in the inner areas of continents. The sixth day. And the eighth day. Temperatures over the land are dropping rapidly. At this point, all crops in the northern hemisphere will be destroyed. The 10th day. Europe, the Soviet Union, and North America fall under the grip of ice. The frozen air of the continents streams toward the sea areas, which are not yet so cold, building up into violent winds. From the interior of the land masses toward the sea, a long period of storms continues. The sudden winter brought about by nuclear war has been named by scientists the nuclear winter. And scientists have estimated that this nuclear winter could be triggered by only 0.5% of the nuclear warheads in the world today. 0.5%. 100 megatons, equivalent to the amount carried by only 5 strategic submarines. As the sea gets colder, the winds will weaken, and the sea areas close to the land will also freeze over. With the loss of sunlight, the phytoplankton that live in the sea will be the first to die out, followed by the fish that live on them, and they in turn by all the larger fish. Day by day, the areas with temperatures below zero will spread southward. Eventually, the deserts will freeze. On the 40th day after a July nuclear war, near the end of August, the temperatures in different parts of the world will be New York, minus 15 degrees Celsius. Paris, minus 20. Stockholm, minus 30. Moscow, minus 30. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, minus 16. New Delhi, minus 8. Tokyo -5, and Toronto -25 degrees Celsius. These figures are calculated from estimates made by Dr. Vladimir Alexandrov, head of the Department of Atmospheric Models, Soviet Academy of Sciences. According to one scholar, these wintry conditions will persist for 6 months. According to another, they will last for 3 years. If the nuclear winter lasts for even 1 year, the southern hemisphere will also freeze. The cold will destroy every crop, and people south of the equator, far from the nuclear battlefields, will face crisis and death. There are some 30 million species of animal and plant life on Earth, and half of them live in the tropical rainforests. Most life forms have a low tolerance toward changes in temperature, and whole species will die off if there is a drop of only a few degrees. The tropical rainforests will become, within a short period, forests of death, and will later change into vast deserts. This will mean the loss of one of the Earth's largest sources of oxygen. The last blows to fall will be poisonous gases and a deadly burst of ultraviolet radiation from the sun.
We have a problem in the stratosphere because in the stratosphere there is ozone. Ozone protects us from ultraviolet radiation.
Dr. Paul Crutzen, Max Planck Institute, West Germany.
Causes skin cancer and snow blindness and problems like that. That ozone may be attacked by pollutants which have been put into the atmosphere. So when the war is over and the aerosol particles have settled down on the Earth's surface, there may be reactions taking place in the stratosphere which reduce ozone. On the other hand, in the troposphere, we may have reactions starting which make ozone. And that's where we don't want ozone. We want ozone in the stratosphere, but not in the troposphere. Ozone in the troposphere would cause health problems. They would immediately interfere with breathing. It will attack plants, whatever plants are left in certain regions.
Harsh ultraviolet radiation and toxic gases. The blows that both these deliver will put living things in an even more precarious position. With the Earth having lost its covering, its plant life, the weather will show great extremes. It will be merciless. If the sun shines, it will mean drought. If it rains, there will be floods. The ground will be parched and cracked. Mountains will disintegrate, and sandstorms will rage. One scientist has predicted a return to the Stone Age, when the last traces of the nuclear holocaust are gone. Another has said the Earth will be the same as it was 600 million years ago, when primitive forms of life had just begun to appear, somewhat like the surface of the moon. Though man may not live through a nuclear war, scientists predict that certain animals could adapt, and will, like cockroaches. They live underground and in sheltered places, and are very resistant to radiation. If they survive, they will immediately increase their numbers. But no matter what life forms survive, it will be a world in which the civilization of today will have ceased to exist.
We are all humankind, and independently of our political attitudes, religious, ethnical, and other differences, we are united in the one idea to prevent the nuclear war. And
Dr. Marat Vartanyan, Director of Research Academy of Medical Sciences, Moscow.
Unity. I must say that during whole human history, about 5,000 years, the only 292 years, the Earth was free from wars. During these 5,000 years, approximately 1,590 global and local wars happened. And during these wars, there were about 4 billion casualties, equal to the whole population of the world. And the problem is that possible nuclear war would be the last one. There will be no winner, no loser. All humankind will end.
The population of the world today is 4.8 billion. Of this population, the number who will survive the Third World War for some time after will be about 1 billion, mainly in the southern hemisphere. But these survivors will immediately be threatened by extinction. Radiation sickness will spread to every part of the world, and epidemic diseases will be rampant. But there will be no medical services to tend to them. And with all this, the nuclear winter will continue. In the tropics, as well as in the north, food supplies will run out, and famine will close in, ending the final chapter. The sounds of children at play, the spring rains after the snows of winter, the love we share with others. Life speaks to us directly, whatever country we call home. And as citizens of the world, we're not so different in our desires to somehow shape our future to make it better for our children. Human life is so easily lost by the smallest event which could ignite the use of nuclear weapons. It will take only a moment, and our future will change irrevocably. Politicians for 30 years have been trying to put an end to the nuclear arms race, but so far they've failed. If it's to be stopped, it will be when the people of the world demand that it be stopped. The Third World War will be the last war. Together, we are responsible for making sure it never happens.
Call